To do a quick summary, today's video will be covering how to get an upfront mainstream sounding rap vocal mix thing. I don't know, just play the voiceover with cool clips over it. I sometimes think about the rap music era between 2009 and 2014. A lot has changed since then, but what made this era so different? In my opinion, I felt that artists were able to still be themselves even within a mainstream environment. So many collaborations were happening, especially with artists you would never see together in today's world. There was a really healthy dose of a mixture between New York style beats as well as southern type beats. This was all before YouTube really blew up in terms of the type beat scene. For artists, this meant it was a lot harder to find high quality beats. There was a lot more of an inner circle going on within the industry, meaning you would have to really produce some amazing music in order to be seen or heard. This brings up the topic of record labels as well as camps. If you think about YMCMB, you think about Good Music, We the Best, Rockefeller. I mean, so many different diverse camps were putting out really amazing music, which were able to kickstart many artists' careers as well as have them flourish up to this day. Now it's time I think we get into the sonics of it all. When you're at a record label, there's something called quality control. In today's era, we don't have that. You're able to just record anything and put it on the internet. But back then, you know, artists and labels were paying engineers a lot of money to produce amazing music. They would be able to go to a high quality studio. They would be able to get the best mixers in the industry to mix these records. So what would end up happening is there would be an inner circle of engineers too, meaning that a lot of the records on the radio would sound very similar or the same. In contrast to today's era, if you think about how many people are actually able to just mix records in their home and get amazing results, you know, these results will still differ from the next artist. So, you know, I think that's what we'll be breaking down in this video today, is kind of to get that sound. The specific style and era I'll be focusing on in terms of subject choice will be kind of like the swag, money era, you know what I mean? I'm thinking Drake featuring Lil Wayne featuring whoever else, you know what I mean? So that's just what I'll choose. That's what I like to listen to. That's what I grew up listening to. If you don't like it, what is up, everybody? It is your boy Farai. Thank you once again for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed the little intro skit. You know, once in a while when I do have the time and energy to do them, I will do them. We'll get straight into the video. Stock plugins on deck today, pretty much. You know, just, you know, my DS, I had to put it in there. But for the most part, we got about a 98% stock template. So, you know, drop a like, hit that like button. I'm doing this for all of y'all in the comments, you know. And yeah, let's have some fun. Hopefully you learn. There's a fly in this room. I don't know how it got in. So, you know, it is there. But anyway, let's get straight into this video, man. Super nice. Hope you're having a good day. Let's get it.
Had to run it up, counting all the cash, we need all the cash. I've been living fast, we've been living fast. Think I'm Lil Wayne where I'm spending bags. Running to the money, yeah, until my feet are sore. I got bags on bags, we got racks on racks. Running to the money, yeah, until my feet are sore. I got racks on racks, we got racks on racks. Yo, fuck all of y'all, fuck all of y'all, fuck all of y'all. They were hating on me, never believed in me. Yeah, hating on me, never believed in me.
Super hard, man. I had so much fun making this. But yeah, that, you know, that's definitely my favorite era of hip-hop, man. Just in terms of the diverse beats, you know, not everything sounded the same. Sonically, everything had this kind of prestige to it, you know, and I hope to achieve that with this template. So, you know, if you like the sound, stick around. If not, you can keep it moving. But let's, you know, we'll start off with our main vocal. You know, I will talk about everything today in this video. I'll be talking about the instrumental. Obviously, you know, this is outside of the jurisdiction of stock. You know, I am using a few little tools and techniques here simply because, you know, I find mastering the beat a bit different from the vocals. But the vocals all stock. We'll kind of break it down besides the auto-tune, obviously. But yeah, let's kind of start off with, you know, our main vocal. I really like what I did in the last video in the Cloud Rap series. So I've kind of stuck to the same technique of sticking to an analog workflow when recording. So as you can see, all of these green vocals are where we can actually record our vocals. Now I actually have a let me not forget about this keyboard right here today, because I'll be showing you all the shortcuts that I use within FL Studio, so you can just pay attention. Unfortunately, I do not have a mouse kind of controller, so you just have to look at my camera to see when I'm clicking. I will say left click or whatever, but you've got this mic input channel, right? So the way I like to record, and this does not apply to the newest FL, unfortunately. I think the version I'm using right now, I'll just blur out my name because, you know, people keep inviting me on Facebook, but you can see that I'm using FL Studio 20.0.3. That, in my opinion, is the pinnacle of FL Studio recording. Most stable version, good CPU usage, doesn't crash that much. But anyway, what I like to do is, right, I like to set up a mic input channel, and I like to then direct my mic input channel to all of these different banks, right? So all of these green channels are different vocals that I can record into directly without actually recording the effects into the recording, you know what I mean? So all I need to do is I need to hold in the control key, right? You can see that on the keyboard, and then left click. So I'm control left clicking. I'm just holding in the control button, and that's going to basically allow me to record all my main vocals. All my main vocals are going to show up in the main vocal channel directly without me having to, you know, post recording go and add them, you know what I mean? So you can see if I click on double, this still has the old words. I was trying to do a nav 88, but it ended up being this. But yeah, channel 7, you can see right there, channel 7. You know, if I say adlib, yeah, there's our adlibs right there. 8, you know what I mean? All because I was control left clicking. But anyway, that's a utility thing. On the right, we have our sends, right? So I definitely recommend going and watching the little Uzi tutorial, because I actually did a whole thing on all of the little different sections within our or my template. But on the right, we've got all of our effects sends, you know, so where we've got our effects going on. I'll just add a stock delay. I haven't changed that, but this is a stock delay. But yeah, those are our sends, you know. So from our vocal chain, we go to all the sends, and then on the left side is where we've got all of our buses or groups. I will do a full video on that. I know a lot of people have been asking, but basically this is where we sum all of our channels, you know. Our main 3 elements are our and yeah, by the way, I just pressed, you can see on the screen, you know, and then just left click drag. But these 2 channels are going to the vocal chain, and then the left and right go to the background vocal, where I can further go in and EQ. I just leave this here. This is a free plugin, but I like to sculpt my background vocals just with the EQ, nothing really special. But yeah, let's get into the main vocals. So, you know, in an analog style workflow, generally, as I said this in the last video, what would happen in a pro studio, so let's just say we're recording Lil Wayne, the first thing we do is we walk in the studio and we pick a microphone, right? Because, you know, these pro studios have a nice diverse selection of microphones. Now, obviously, many of us don't have those options. I only have 2 main vocal mics, so, you know, I just stick to the same one every time I make it work. This is the SE2200 for those wondering, the microphone that I have at the back. You pick a microphone, and then you pick a microphone preamp. Now, a preamp, I've got a preamp right here, you know. I just use that one all the time because I've got about 3 options, right? I've got a DBX, this old school one which I really like, and then the audio interface preamp, you know. So you pick those things, but we can do that within the DAW. So if you only have a Focusrite, you record your vocals and then you add your preamp plugin. All right, so you can go and download the 9,000 subscriber preset pack. It just completely focuses on this element of recording. It's just really beefing up those vocals and getting that analog warmth or kind of grit that you want in this case. But this is the V-Pre73. I really like this Silk Edition. If you don't have that, you can just get the channel 4. I've actually upgraded with the free presets to channel 6, I think, hopefully. But yeah, I'm using that. And this says Neve. This is Neve emulation, so it's the same thing. All you need to do is drive it and see if you like it or not. You know, you can go for the SSL API, is a bit more punchy. SSL is a bit more kind of body sounding. But Neve definitely for mainstream rap, I would say. Cool. Now definitely, again, please go check out in the link in the description. There will be a link to a video I've done, basically breaking down all of the free noise gates. You can just go and find the noise gate that works for you. I personally don't like to waste time. Waves NS1, been using this for years. It sounds good. It's singular. It's a singular knob. It works. You know what I mean? Spend the $30 probably that it is. But if you can't, just check out the link in the description. Now we're just doing a bit of compression because the way a vocal chain would work is you would go mic preamp, right? So we go mic preamp or mic preamp into compressor. All right, so we got a compressor right there, and then all that's really doing is just kind of kissing the vocal a little bit just to level it out, so that, you know, when the artist shouts and he's listening to his own music, you know, the vocal doesn't bounce too high. It kind of stays consistent. So that's kind of cool to have. That really not needed. I don't know why I put that there. But anyway, so from main vocal, we go to vocal chain. Alright, so stick with me, we'll break down the vocal chain and then we'll talk about the instrumental. But on the vocal chain, the first thing I like to do is, and we might as well turn off everything. So everything I'm not using, I'll just do this so we can actually hear what is going on. We'll do that. And then let's turn off all of these. Auto-tune we'll leave on. And then we'll turn off the vocal chain as well. You can see me turning it off. And then we'll kind of go to where the drums hit.
Running to the money until my feet are sore. I got bags on bags, we got racks on racks. Running to the money until my feet are sore. I got racks on racks, we got racks on racks.
Cool, just a stock standard recording. If you focus on your recordings, it's gonna sound just kind of, mostly probably a bit bassy. Maybe lacking a bit of grit, you know what I mean? So that's all this vocal chain is focusing on. So let's just turn on everything we turned off. Make sure I don't miss anything. Otherwise, for the rest of the video, we'll have, half a template running. And we'll turn that back on.
Running to the money until my feet are sore. I got bags on bags, we got racks on racks. Running to the money until my feet are sore. I got racks on racks, we got racks on racks.
Alright, so there you go. That's just a little quick in and out. Now I've got an EQ right here. Alright, so basic rap philosophy of EQ is all you really want to do is treat this low, mid to bass section, all right? Because that's generally where the mud is going to happen. If you're always finding I get a lot of DMs on Instagram, feel free to DM me on Instagram. My mixes sound too muddy. It's probably because A, the instrumental wasn't mixed well, and then B, you're not focusing on treating this area right here, you know what I mean? So get you a little spectrum analyzer. It's basically a plugin that can show you what your voice looks like on a FET graph. Just Google Spectrum Analyzer free, you'll find one, and then just record your voice and then look at how it kind of moves around. You'll generally see there'll be a few bumps over here of resonances, you know what I mean? If those resonances are too crazy because of your room being small and untreated, it's going to be really hard to EQ. So try and kind of create a dead zone and then just focus on treating that low mid area just to get rid of some of those resonances. You can poke out where you want, you know what I mean? I kind of like that, my voice has a bit of a rasp to it, so that helps me right there. You can move this around to tailor to your voice. Generally what I like to do around this area, high mids, let's just say where around 3,000, 2,000 to 7,000. I like to just dip somewhere, you know what I mean? Not too much. You don't want to go more than 6 dB dipping around this area because it starts to make your vocals sound a bit kind of fake, you know what I mean? So the next thing I do is just a slight top end boost around 7-8K, and that's just going to add a bit of air to our vocal. Short and sweet. We don't want to add too much air. We're doing that on the master channel. All right, so I'll kind of break down some secrets later on. There we go. We boost a bit of top end. Because then we get the hi-hat and the vocals. So that's cool, but that's mastering right there. Next thing I like to do, look, we got the TDR Nova. If you can't afford the waves, which is $30, man, for this, amazing. This costed like 200 bucks back in the day. We can switch that out and we'll get a similar result.
Running to the money until my feet are sore. I got bags on bags, we got racks on racks. Running to the money until my feet are sore. I got racks.
But there will be nothing that competes with it. I'll tell you honestly. This is cool, it'll get you the same result, but there's just a certain reminiscence, you know what I mean? I hear all of those artists de-essing going on. When you really get into sound, you're going to start hearing like, oh, he used a stereo separator, oh, that de-ess is really smoothing the vocal out. This is the de-esser that's doing most of that work from all of the records you like, or it is the Renaissance de-esser. So if you get the Renaissance bundle by Waves, you got the same thing going on. Cool. So the next thing I do right here is a bit of slap delay. This is the Fruity Delay Bank. Really cool plugin. And all I'm really doing, you can copy these settings right here. It's really just this one. Time, really short time. I don't know what it would be. Let's check that value right there, 6%. And all I'm really doing is creating a slap effect, right? So a little bit of wet, and that's just wetting up the vocal a little bit, giving it a bit of an ambient sound. The next thing I do is a bit of delay swing, right? So all this is a quarter note delay, and it's just adding a bit of delay in the background. Really easy. I've talked about this a lot. You can go check out some other videos for more in-depth. Go check out my Futures Delay Secret or something like that. There's a video I've done a while back. But anyway, actually, interesting enough, I did do a treble boost right here. I think I did this a day after making this song. So treble boost, let's call that treble boost EQ. OCD kicking in right there. Oh man, everything has to be capitalized. Oh no, sorry, OCD. There we go. Treble boost EQ. Just a bit of boost right there, man. 20K, just to get that air popping out of the vocal a bit more. Next thing I do right here is just a bit of compression. You can see the settings right there, 4:1 ratio, kind of emulating a Teletronic style compressor. We've got this vintage type. If you actually read the manual, definitely read the manual. They actually talk about how this does kind of replicate a Teletronics compressor in a sense. I just wish that in the near future, Image Line add like a meter to this plugin, man. I would really like to see a meter, but if you like meters, you can just use the Fruity Limiter. They're just a million videos. Justin I'm always done one on Fruity Limiter. But yeah, next thing I do is just a bit of reverb right here, man. You know, let's check out the amount. 21% of really a short reverb time. You can check out these settings as well. 3% on the decay, just to create a room sound. So, you know, that together with the vocal bank is really spreading our vocal really naturally without making it sound like a long sounding reverb. You know, mainstream rap never really has a long sounding reverb. Only if you listen to like you know, early Kendrick, you would find some long reverbs and that kind of stuff, but very tight sounding vocal. So the next thing I do just to finish off this whole chain is just a bit of flangers. I really like this. This is a Seth Firkins method right here. Reverb into a flanger, or reverb, yeah, and there you go. On the vocal chain, I tend to do mid-side EQ, and just to sculpt out a bit of that reverb bass. Go watch a video on mid-side EQ, and then again I'm just doing a bit of demudding and then detrebling, just to finalize the result. And I still have a L1. You can go and use the W1. Completely forgot to change this out. Same plugin. I mean, look, it's got a threshold, it's got a release, it's got a seeding, and it works the same way. You know, you pull the threshold down and it compresses. So you would just use these settings: minus 0.5, and then minus 1.5, and then, you know, if you'd like 200, I think is 1 because it's just a standard. But you could use auto release. You could also make it really long. I've seen a bunch of engineers actually do that, and it sounds good. So, you know, it is what it is. But yeah, that's pretty much all we're doing on the main vocal. Ad-libs and stuff, man. I'm using a bit of flanger. I'll switch this out. I forgot to change the plugins, but just use the flangers again. Use the standard setting on the ad-lib. The ad-lib's really minimal in this track anyway. I mean, if you listen right here, you can kind of hear it fast. Think I'm yeah. You know, so let's just kind of get that out the way. Fast. You kind of hear it over here. All of y'all, fuck all of y'all. They were hating on. Yeah, aggressive lyrics, demonetization gang. But yeah, that's pretty much what we're doing. You know, reverbs and stuff, man. You can see right here when I click on vocal chain, I'm creating these sends. As you can see, the delays come in and out. So if we kind of just go to where the drop comes in, that's where our automation's happening. Let me just make that a bit bigger. There you go. You can kind of see the reverb pops in and out, so let's just watch it pop in and out one time. Spend and bang, run into the money, yeah, until my feet are sore. I got bags on bags. You know what I mean? That's where that delay is coming from. But then again, the same thing, we want a consistent delay, a reverb going on. So this is the delay setting I'm using. Turn down the dry, turn up the wet, so you're only getting the reverb sound, the wet reverb sound. So yeah, let's move over to the instrumental. Hopefully you've survived this long. What I like to do really is just record the track and not process the instrumental at all, and then kind of in the middle of mixing the vocal, then start to decide, you know, maybe this instrumental could use a bit more crack, you know. So in the high mids is where you're gonna find that that treble, you know. So let's just solo out the instrumental. So that's what it sounds like with me mixing it. Let's just turn, that's just a song key. This is $12.50. Amazing. You know, it's just going to tell you the scale of the song, you know, and that's cool because then I can set the auto tune to that. And my bad, I did forget about the auto tune. Somebody at the gate. But yeah, so pretty much what I like to do is, man, I just really like to add a bit of you know, I boost here and there. So let's turn off, obviously. Really well mixed beat, but we can really crack it a little bit, man. We can make it hit harder, you know. You know what I mean? We're hearing that snare crack. We're cleaning up that little bit of a mud issue right there. We're boosting where necessary. You know, we're getting that song to hit. Now I did not buy the standard FL Studio Transient Designer. There's an FL Studio Transient Designer. I'm just using the SPL because I have it, and all I'm doing is boosting the attack a little bit just to make sure that the hi-hats and the kicks punch a little bit more. And then what I do is I use an Ozone Imager. This is the best stereo spreader that there is, and use this with caution, the stereo I section. And what I like to do is boost the mid frequencies and really just spread the instruments around the vocals. So if you listen to this section right here, let's just get to where the drop kind of hits. You know, the instrumental just starts to spread a little bit. So that's what I do. That's my little secret. And then the last thing I do, which is a very popular kind of Atlanta. I watch a lot of Atlanta engineers. You know, a lot of these guys are mixing all the big name stuff. And what a lot of these guys do to 2-track instrumentals is to use the R bass at a frequency that they like, really minimally. And then all that really does is it gives it that kind of mainstream bass sound, you know, because when you get used to listening to these tracks, you expect that same low end, you know. So this is really just, I don't know, it's doing something. But if I turn it off, you know, sure, we lose a bit of volume because this is limiting it, but at the same time, and by the way, I use this pre-master just to pull down that clipping right there, you know, so I'm not hitting the master clipping. Everything goes to this channel. But yeah, that's pretty much what I do, you know. So alright, so there you go. Yeah, so we'll just take a listen for all time's sake. And yeah, man, if you enjoy the sound of this, you know, stop by the link in the description, web store. If you can't afford it, copy it, you know what I mean? Don't be lazy, copy. I've showed you everything there is, pretty much, for the most part, everything that is important, the meat and potatoes. Check out the free presets as well. I'll give away a few free presets. I don't know what. I'll give away the slap delay. I've never given away one of those. I'll give away the reverb and the flanger, you know what I'm saying? RIP Seth Focus, because I got that source from him. So the source has been handed to you. And yeah, make sure to download the mic preamps, the free mic preamps that I will be giving away in the new giveaway. You know what I'm saying? We're already at 9,100, man. You know what I'm saying? It's blessed up, man. So yeah, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to everyone for, you know, the consistent support and all that. And I'll check you in the next video. Feel free to ask questions in the comments. Yeah.
Had to run it up, had to run it up. Counting all the cash, we need all the cash. I've been living fast, we've been living fast. Think I'm Lil Wayne where I'm spending bags. Running to the money, yeah, until my feet are sore. I got bags on bags, we got racks on racks. Running to the money, yeah, until my feet are sore. I got racks on racks, we got racks on racks. Yo, fuck all of y'all, fuck all of y'all, fuck all of y'all. They were hating on me, never believed